Alright, hey you guys, it is TsubakiSwagg and I'm coming to you. It hurts my heart. I'm coming to you with my last review. Well, I won't say last review, but my review of the last episode of Parasyte, episode 24, Parasyte. And this episode, it hurt my heart so bad. I'm extremely distraught that this is the last episode. I'm just like, no, Parasyte can't leave like this. It just hurts my heart. But this episode was so freaking awesome and sad and touching and just everything. This episode was everything. So, of course, like we see, like Shinichi. I'll just say the main parts. Like Shinichi, at one point he was asleep. Miyu tried to talk to him, but he was like talking to him in his mind, and they had this whole conversation about Migi leaving, and they've been through so much. And Shinichi, he made like mental images of like his mom and the detective Kana, everybody that he remembers dying, because Migi was like, I know you've had drastic things happen in your life, like people leaving, and he immediately thought of his mom, and he was like, so this is how you picture your mom. And then he just started thinking about a whole bunch of other people, and Migi asked him, he was like, so how do you perceive me? And he made the image of Migi that we have all seen, like when Migi is either detached from his hand or even on his hand. And Migi was like, huh, so that's that. And Shinichi didn't quite understand. I don't understand why Migi didn't really, I guess, perceive himself the way he is seen. But, I mean, that's neither here nor there. So, Migi just went through this whole speech about when he was attached to Gato. He was receiving all this information. He was like, he was feeling alone, but he wasn't alone. And he's going to go to sleep. But he might not wake up this time until he dies. So Shinichi was like, why are you just springing this on me out of the blue, literally out of nowhere? Why are you doing all this? Why are you telling me this now? And Migi was like, I wanted to tell you in a dream. Well, I wanted to tell you in a dream so that way you would remember when you woke up. When you wake up, you'll only think of me as like everything that happened as a dream. He was like, I'll never be able to forget all the stuff that we've been through. He pretty much was like, you mean so much to me. How can you just leave? And Migi was like, well, he was pretty much like, I'm grateful for meeting you. We've gone through so many things. And he was like, thank you for letting him be a part of his life for that year. I want to say it was over a span of a year. So Migi left. Shinichi woke up the next day and he yelled at his hand. He was like, I can't just forget about you, you idiot. And it was so sad. It hurt my heart. So after that, we see like Shinichi, he meets up with Murano and Akiho, and I can't remember what the other girl's name is. The really stupid one that almost got killed. They were all sitting down because he was supposed to meet up with Murano, but they had just happened to walk by. So him and Murano started walking together, and they were studying, because now all three of them, like Murano and the other two girls, are in college now because they passed their college exams. But Shinichi, of course, didn't pass because he hasn't been in school for like a year. So Murano is helping him study for his college exams, and while all this is happening, he started thinking about, he pretty much has almost the mindset of a parasite. Like, he was thinking about how humans are so vapid, they're so insignificant in relation to everything, even though they think so highly of themselves. And really, people only do the things that they do for self-gratification. Is not necessarily for any other species on the earth. Is literally just to make themselves feel better about themselves. And Shinichi was like, we really can't say we genuinely understand any other species besides maybe humans, and even then our stupid ways of thinking really doesn't mean anything and amounts to nothing. So Shinichi has become very, very, I can't think of the word. Shinichi has become very profound in his thinking, which is awesome. I mean, that's a side effect from being with Migi for so long. So at one point they got up and they started walking, and Shinichi was thinking, of course, and then he sees Yurigami, and like they make eye contact, and Yurigami walks away. So Shinichi tried to play it off, and then they would continue walking, saw him again. So he tried to follow him, and he made Murano stay where she was. And Yurigami like cut around and got Murano, and he made her go up to the rooftop. Shinichi ran after them, like he ran the stairs trying to find them. But when Yurigami had already gotten to the top, there were two people like on the rooftop. And the man that was with this girl saw that Yurigami had a blade to Murano's neck, and he tried to stop him, and Yurigami slit his throat. And then he killed the girl next to, like, standing literally right next to Murano. And Murano, of course, freaked out. And by the time Shinichi got up there, Yurigami was like standing close to the edge holding Murano, and he pretty much, Yurigami had this whole speech about monsters, not monsters, but beasts, whenever they do anything, it's kind of brushed to the side because it's in their nature. So if anything, humans are really just beasts, and killing is in their nature, and he is actually more of a human than any of the other people who control themselves from killing other people. And it was just this whole spiel about him being human, or a true human. And he was like, I knew from the moment that I met you that you were like the bridge between humans and monsters. And Shinichi was like, there was somebody who told me that before. And of course he was referring to me. So he was like, well, I'll do anything, I'll tell you anything as long as you let Murano go. And Murano, at one point, she was so scared she could barely even talk. And then after seeing the way Shinichi reacted to Yurigami, she grew some balls, and she pretty much told him that she was just like, call the police. You don't have to try to save me. Just call the police and I'll be okay, blah, blah, blah. And Yurigami was like, I like the spunky ones. You can go ahead and call the police, and I'll just cut her apart I'll just cut the toy apart piece by piece while I'm waiting, because this is probably the last fun I'll ever have. And Shinichi, of course, wasn't having that. So he ran at him, and Yurigami, he just makes me angry, but he's kind of cool too. But he stabbed Shinichi in the arm. Shinichi he cratered his face. He cratered his face, and Yurigami, I guess he was caught off guard. I guess he didn't think Shinichi was going to do that. And Shinichi accidentally knocked Murano over the edge. And Shinichi started just like freaking out. He was crying, and he was like, why does this always happen to me? And then he has his thought, and he was like, why are we so, like, pretty much like, why do we react the way we do to the way things happen to people who are close to us? And Migi was like, it's because humans have so much time on their hands. And he was like, that is a wonderful thing. Do you know what you can do with all of that time? And then Migi, like, he saw this little like Migi walking around, which was actually pretty awesome. And he was like, well, I'm gonna let you do the holding on now because my arm is starting to get tired. And Shinichi opened his eyes, and he was holding Murano's arm. Well, he was holding her hand. He was like, Migi, thank you, Migi. So he pulled her over, and he was like, I wonder if Murano saw Migi. And then he said, even in a way, if she did, I don't even care. It's not even that serious. And he was like, thank you, Migi, you're still alive. And I was like, yes, Migi is still here. He is still alive in Shinichi. So I feel like if there is a continuation of the series, that Migi is just going to be like a little side character now. He's not going to be a main anymore, and he'll just be there whenever Shinichi needs him. So that was just freaking awesome. I was so happy. And of course, people like came up to the rooftop and saw like all these dead people on the ground, and Murano was just happy that she had her Shinichi. And Shinichi was happy because he got to save Murano, because at one point I thought Murano was about to die too. So this episode was freaking awesome. I was so happy to see this episode. Oh my gosh. But I'm so sad because Parasyte can't end. No. It hurts my heart to think about it. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah. this episode was freaking awesome, and I am happy I've had the pleasure to watch this show and watch Shinichi and Migi progress together and see the way they change and how